Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Secretary, the Department's FY27 military construction request includes plans for a new $250 million Space Force operations facility at Schriever Space Force Base. When constructed, this facility will support essential national security missions like Golden Dome, the National Reconnaissance Office, intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance missions, and other Space Command requirements. With a projected workforce that includes over 2,600 high-paying civilian jobs, how will the Department compete with the private sector to recruit and hire the highly skilled talent needed for those positions? And how will the Department work with El Paso County, which is my county, and the City of Colorado Springs, who strongly supported this administration, by the way, to meet the growing needs of the Space Force?
Well, first and foremost, and I mean this, I would welcome your input. That's usually what I say when I'm on the road and in the field with commanders is, okay, you ask me, we meet with battalion and brigade commanders all the time. They ask me a really detailed question, and the first thing I say is, what do you think? And usually they know the problem set much better than us, and we take that feedback back to HQ and we action it. So I would welcome how we can ensure that that workforce is properly cared for and competitive, considering how important the Space Force is, which is doubled in this budget in size. Right. That domain of warfare we have to get right.
Yes. Okay. Mr. Secretary, sometimes here in Congress and on these committees, sometimes we do oversight, but sometimes we just overact. And there's been a little bit of that today. There's been some overacting. I would hope that when I look back on my congressional career, I've only been here a little while, I do know that when President Biden did some military operations, I supported him. I wasn't here, but I supported those operations because it's important to support the men and women of the military, and it's important to support our commander-in-chief when he makes the decision to deploy those troops. And I'd hope that when I look back on my career years from now, I will say the same thing, that I didn't choose what to support based on who the party was in the White House, but based on whether it was the best thing for our national security. And I hope that some of my colleagues who don't seem to hold that same standard would introspectively look at what they do. But I want to give you a minute. There's been a lot said about Iran and about the mission in Iran. And I think there's been a lot of misinformation here, and I want to give you the opportunity to correct the record.
Well, I appreciate that. We are fortunate to have a president who understands the nature of the threat we face from a nuclear-armed Iran. Full stop. We know what they say they would do, we know that they were pursuing, and we know that at their weakest moment we had an opportunity to do something about it before they had a conventional shield of missiles and drones so large that they could never be contested. And then without inspections and from a bad deal, they could possibly race to a bomb. So the threat was right there in front of us. All it took was the courage to act, which no other president had done. And he gave us a clear set of objectives, which the chairman and I talked about from day one. In pursuit of ensuring that Iran never gets a nuclear weapon, you degrade their missile program, defeat their missile program, get at their conventional Navy, and ensure they don't have a defense industrial base so they can rebuild those capabilities. That's what we briefed from the podium. That's what we talked about. That's what we were focused on. And in service of that, had overwhelming military victories in pursuit of it. I mean, we've never seen an air campaign like what we did alongside the Israeli Air Force, not to mention the rescue of those 2 pilots and the professionalism of that joint force that went downtown twice, once in the day and once in the night, to leave no man behind. That is a call the commander-in-chief makes, and he had the guts to make it. And as a result, we're in a ceasefire, in the middle of negotiations, in a very strong place with a blockade that will ensure that when this is done, when a deal is set, it's a deal on the president's terms to ensure Iran never gets a nuclear weapon. That's a fight worth having. And if the American people remember 47 years, Americans remember 47 years of what the Iranians have done to us, targeting and killing Americans. If they had a nuclear weapon, they would use it. This president has unleashed his military to do something about it. We've had historic successes. And if we need to go at it again to ensure that success, we are prepared to. But we're hopeful over time that a deal will be compelled and compelled quickly. So this talk about endless wars or forever wars, the president points out rightfully what this town tolerated in Iraq and Afghanistan and Vietnam. That is not this. This is a discrete mission to pursue U.S. objectives, and we're doing it in a historic fashion.
I support this president's operation right now in Iran. I supported President Obama when he said he opposed a nuclear Iran and would do what was necessary to do that. And I supported President Clinton when he did the same it's time to act, and I'm glad that this president did. Thank you.
Support journalism you trust. Support PBS News. Donate now, or even better, start a monthly contribution today.